This week, Pisces, there is one single choice sitting in front of you that has the power to protect your peace for the days and weeks ahead. And if you miss it, you will feel the weight of that missed moment for longer than you expect. That is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Because this is a week of reset, a true reset. And the universe is offering you a rare window where one clear decision can shift everything in your emotional world. Not a dramatic, life-altering decision in the way most people think of it. No, this is quieter than that. This is the kind of choice that happens inside you first. In the space between what you feel and what you allow. You have been carrying something that does not belong to you. Maybe it is someone else's expectation. Maybe it is a version of yourself you have outgrown. Maybe it is a worry that has been circling your mind so long it feels like part of your identity. Whatever it is, this week gives you the chance to set it down. Not with force, not with anger, but with the calm knowing that protecting your peace is not selfish. It is survival. And everything you are about to hear in this message is designed to show you exactly how to make that choice step by step, so that by the end of this week, you feel lighter, clearer, and more grounded than you have felt in a very long time. So stay with me because this message was made for you. Tip 1. The first thing you need to understand this week is that your peace is not a luxury. It is the foundation everything else in your life is built on. When your peace is intact, your relationships work better. Your health improves. Your decisions become sharper. Your sleep deepens. Your creativity flows. But when your peace is disrupted, everything starts to crumble slowly at first and then all at once. And here is what most people get wrong about peace. They think it is something that happens to you. They think peace arrives when the circumstances are right, when the bills are paid, when the relationship is stable, when the kids are settled, when the job feels secure. But that is not how peace works. Peace is a choice you make before any of those things are resolved. Peace is what you carry into the storm, not what you find after it passes. And for you, Pisces, this distinction matters more than it does for almost any other sign, because you feel everything. You absorb the emotions of the people around you like a sponge absorbs water. You walk into a room and within minutes you are carrying the mood of that room inside your chest. Someone is anxious near you and suddenly you feel anxious. Someone is sad, and you feel that sadness as if it were your own. This is not a weakness. It is actually one of your greatest gifts. But a gift that is not managed becomes a burden. And that is what has been happening lately. You have been absorbing without filtering. You have been taking in without releasing. And now you are full of emotions and energies that are not even yours. This week, the very first step in your reset is to acknowledge that truth. Say it to yourself quietly right now if you can. Not everything I feel belongs to me. That one sentence has the power to begin separating what is truly yours from what you have been carrying on behalf of others. And once you begin that separation, something remarkable happens. You start to feel lighter. Not because the world around you changed, but because you stopped trying to hold it all. You stopped trying to fix everyone. You stopped trying to absorb every ripple of emotion that crossed your path. This does not mean you become cold. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you start caring for yourself with the same intensity you have always given to everyone else. And that, Pisces, is the beginning of real peace. Not the kind that depends on everything being perfect. The kind that lives inside you regardless of what is happening outside. Think about a time recently when you felt truly calm. Not distracted, not numb, but genuinely at ease. Where were you? What were you doing? Chances are you were alone, or you were with someone who required nothing from you. Someone whose presence felt safe, uncomplicated, warm. That feeling, that is your natural state. That is who you are when the weight of everyone else's world is not pressing down on your shoulders. And the reason it felt so rare, so precious, is not because peace is hard to find. It is because you have been giving it away, handing it over every time someone needed you to absorb their chaos. This week changes that. This week is your invitation to reclaim that kind of peace as your daily reality, not just a rare escape. And it starts right here, right now, with the decision that your emotional well-being matters. Not more than anyone else's, but certainly not less. Hold on to that thought because the next insight builds directly on it, and it goes deeper than you might expect. Tip 2. Now let us talk about the specific choice this week is asking you to make, because it is not vague or abstract. It is very real. And chances are, you already know what it is, even if you have been avoiding it. There is a situation in your life right now where you have been saying a commitment you agreed to out of guilt. Maybe it is a conversation you keep having that drains you every single time. Maybe it is a pattern in a relationship where you give and the other person takes and takes, and somewhere along the way you convinced yourself that this is just what love looks like. But it is not. That is not love. That is depletion. And this week, the universe is putting a spotlight on that exact dynamic and asking you one simple question. Are you going to keep choosing discomfort to avoid conflict, or are you finally going to choose yourself? Now, I know that sounds easier said than done. For a Pisces, the idea of saying no to someone you care about feels almost physically painful. You worry about hurting their feelings. You worry about being seen as selfish. You worry about the fallout. But here is what I need you to really hear. Every time you say yes to something that violates your peace, you are saying no to yourself. Every single time. And you have been saying no to yourself for far too long. This week is the turning point. Not because the universe is going to remove that situation for you. No, this is not that kind of energy. This is the kind of energy that gives you the strength to remove it yourself. Or at the very least, to set a boundary around it that protects your inner world. And boundaries for Pisces are not walls. They are not about shutting people out. They are about deciding how close you let certain energies get to your core. Think of it like this. You can love the ocean and still choose not to swim during a storm. That is not fear. That is wisdom. That is self-preservation. And that is exactly what this week is calling you to practice. The choice you are being asked to make is not about ending anything permanently, unless that is what your soul is calling for. It is about pausing. It is about stepping back far enough to see the full picture instead of being so deep inside the situation that you cannot tell where it ends and you begin. When you make that choice, when you draw that line, something powerful shifts in your energy. The people around you may not understand it at first. They may push back. They may try to pull you back into the old pattern. But if you hold steady, if you stay rooted in your own peace, they will eventually adjust. Or they will fall away. And either outcome is exactly what needs to happen. Because the people who respect your boundaries are the people who deserve access to your heart. And the ones who do not, well, this week will make that very clear. Trust what you feel. And let that feeling guide the choice you already know you need to make. What comes next will show you how to hold that boundary without guilt. And that is where the real freedom begins. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3: guilt is going to show up this week. I want you to be ready for it because if you are not prepared, it will undo everything you just committed to in the previous step. Guilt for Pisces is not a mild discomfort. It is a tidal wave. It sweeps in fast and it feels so real, so heavy, so justified, that you start to question whether you were right to set that boundary in the first place. You start replaying conversations. You start imagining the other person's pain. You start wondering if maybe you were too harsh, too cold, too distant. And before you know it, you are reaching out to apologize for something that was never your fault. You are reopening a door you just had the courage to close. You are undoing your own progress because guilt told you that your peace was less important than someone else's comfort. I need you to hear this clearly. Guilt is not always truth. Sometimes guilt is a habit. Sometimes it is a pattern you learned as a child when you were taught that being good meant putting yourself last. Sometimes guilt is nothing more than the echo of someone else's voice telling you that your needs do not matter. And this week, you have the chance to finally separate real guilt from false guilt. Real guilt comes when you have genuinely harmed someone, when you have lied or betrayed or acted out of cruelty. That kind of guilt deserves your attention. It deserves reflection and repair. But false guilt comes when you simply chose yourself. When you said no to something that was hurting you. When you stopped overextending yourself for someone who never asked how you were doing. When you declined an invitation because your body and your soul needed rest. That is not guilt. That is growth. And growth, unfortunately, does not always feel good in the moment. Sometimes growth feels uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it aches in a way that makes you wonder if you made the wrong choice. But you did not. You made the brave choice. And bravery, by definition, requires discomfort. So here is what I want you to do this week when guilt comes knocking, because it will. I want you to pause before you react. Do not call. Do not text. Do not rush to fix whatever the guilt is telling you is broken. Instead, sit with it. Let it be there without obeying it. Ask yourself one question. Is this guilt telling me I did something wrong? Or is it telling me I did something new? Because those are two very different things. Something wrong requires correction. Something new requires patience. And most of the time, Pisces, what you are feeling is the discomfort of something new. The discomfort of finally putting yourself first. The discomfort of breaking a pattern that has been running your life for years, maybe decades. That discomfort is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is proof that you are on the right one. So let the guilt come, acknowledge it, and then let it pass. Like a wave, it rises, it crests, and it falls. And when it falls, you are still standing. Stronger, clearer, more certain of your own worth. That is what this week is offering you. The chance to feel the guilt and choose yourself anyway. And the next section is going to show you something surprising about the people in your life that will make this whole process easier. Tip 4. Something interesting is going to happen with the people around you this week. And I want you to watch for it closely because it will tell you everything you need to know about who truly supports you. When you start making different choices, when you start protecting your peace, when you start saying no to things that drain you, the people in your life will react. And their reactions will fall into two very distinct categories. The first group will be surprised, maybe even a little confused, but ultimately they will respect it. They might say something like, "I did not know you felt that way." Or, "I understand, take the time you need." These are the people who genuinely care about your well-being, not just about what you can do for them. These are the people who love you, not the version of you that bends and breaks to keep everyone else comfortable, but the real you, the you that has limits and needs and feelings that matter. Pay attention to these people this week. They are your true circle. They are the ones who will still be there when the storm passes. The second group, however, will react very differently. They will push back. They will guilt you. They will tell you that you are being dramatic. They will remind you of everything they have done for you, as if care is a transaction with a balance sheet. They will try to make you feel like the problem. And here's the part that might sting a little. Some of these people are the ones you love most. Some of them are family. Some of them are people you have known for decades. And that makes this harder, yes. But it does not make it any less true. A person who cannot handle your boundary is showing you that they were only comfortable with your lack of one. Read that again. A person who cannot handle your boundary was only comfortable with your lack of one. That is not love. That is control dressed up in familiar clothing. And this week, the universe is helping you see the difference clearly, maybe for the first time. Now, I am not telling you to cut anyone out of your life. That is your decision, not mine. What I am telling you is to watch, observe. Notice how people respond when you start taking care of yourself. Because their response will teach you more about the relationship than years of conversation ever could. You do not need to announce your boundaries with a speech. You do not need to explain yourself in detail. Sometimes a boundary is as simple as not answering a call when you need rest. Sometimes it is choosing not to engage in an argument that will go nowhere. Sometimes it is leaving a gathering early because your energy is running low. These are small acts of self-care that feel enormous to a Pisces, but they are necessary, and the right people will understand. The wrong people will make you feel bad for it. Let this week show you who is who, and trust what you see even if it hurts, because the truth, even a painful truth, is always better than a comfortable lie. And what comes next is going to help you fill the space that opens up when you release what no longer serves you. Tip 5. When you start letting go of things that drain your energy, something unexpected happens. A space opens up inside you, and at first that space might feel uncomfortable. It might feel empty. It might even feel like loneliness. But it is not emptiness. It is availability. It is room. Room for something better, something truer. Something that actually aligns with who you are becoming. Pisces, you have spent so much of your life filling every gap with other people's needs. Every quiet moment became a moment to worry about someone else. Every free hour became an opportunity to help, to fix, to soothe. And while that generosity is beautiful, it left no room for you. No room for your dreams. No room for your healing. No room for the quiet, gentle joy that comes from simply being, without having to do anything for anyone. This week, as you reset and reclaim your peace, you are going to feel that space open up. And I want you to resist the urge to fill it immediately. Do not rush to find a new project, a new person, a new distraction. Just sit in the space. Let it breathe. Let it expand. Because that space is where your next chapter begins. Think about a garden. Before you can plant new seeds, you have to clear the old growth. You have to pull the weeds. You have to turn the soil. And for a while the garden looks bare. It looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, everything is preparing. The soil is softening. The nutrients are shifting. The conditions are becoming just right for new growth. That is what is happening inside you this week. You are clearing. You are preparing. You are making room. And I know it does not feel productive. I know the world tells you that every moment should be filled with action and achievement and forward motion. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Sometimes stillness is the most radical act of self-love. Let yourself rest in that space this week. Read something that feeds your soul. Sit in nature if you can. Listen to music that moves you. Cook a meal slowly and enjoy every bite. Take a walk without a destination. These are not wasted moments. These are the moments where you reconnect with yourself, where you remember who you are beneath all the roles you play. Mother, father, partner, friend, caretaker, listener, healer. Beneath all of that, there is a person, a whole, complete person who deserves to simply exist without earning their place through service to others. This week, let that person come forward. Let that person breathe. Let that person take up space without apology. You have earned this moment of stillness, not through what you have done, but through who you are. And here is something else I want you to notice this week. As that space opens up, ideas will begin to arrive. Not the loud, urgent kind of ideas that demand immediate action. Quiet ones. Soft ones. The kind that drift in like a leaf floating on still water. A thought about something you used to love doing. A memory of a version of yourself that felt more alive. A whisper about a direction you have been curious about but never gave yourself permission to explore. Those ideas are not random. They are seeds. And this open space you are creating is the fertile ground they need to take root. Do not dismiss them. Do not tell yourself they are silly or impractical or too late. Just notice them. Write them down if you can. Let them sit there alongside you in the stillness. Because some of the most powerful changes in your life will not come from dramatic action. They will come from paying attention to what appears in the quiet. And the next insight will reveal a truth about your intuition that will help you navigate every decision this week with surprising clarity. Tip 6. Your intuition this week is sharper than it has been in months, and you need to trust it, even when it tells you things your logical mind does not want to hear. Pisces is the most intuitive sign in the entire zodiac. You feel things before they happen. You sense shifts in energy before anyone else notices. You know when something is off, even when everything on the surface looks perfectly fine. But here is the problem. You have been second-guessing that intuition. Somewhere along the way, someone told you that your feelings were too much, that you were being overly sensitive, that you were imagining things. And instead of trusting the wisdom that lives in your body, you started overriding it with logic. You started telling yourself that you were wrong about what you felt. You started explaining away your gut feelings and replacing them with rational arguments that kept you in situations your soul was begging you to leave. This week, that pattern breaks. This week, your intuition is being amplified by the energy around you, and it is speaking louder than it has in a very long time. Pay attention to the feelings that come up without explanation. The sudden urge to call someone. The unexpected heaviness when you think about a certain situation. The flash of insight that arrives in the shower or right before sleep. These are not random. These are messages. Your body, your soul, your deeper self. They are all trying to tell you something. And this week, the message is clear. You already know what needs to change. You already know where the drain is. You already know which relationship needs a boundary, which commitment needs to be released, which pattern needs to be broken. You know, you have always known. What you have been lacking is not information. It is permission. Permission to trust what you feel. Permission to act on what your gut is telling you. Permission to make a choice based not on what makes sense to everyone else, but on what feels right to you. Well, consider this your permission. Not from me because you do not need my permission, but from the universe itself. This energy, this week, this exact moment in time, it is all aligned to support you in following your intuition. And I can tell you from experience, Pisces, every time you follow your intuition, even when it is scary, even when it does not make sense, even when the people around you think you are making a mistake, it leads you exactly where you need to go. Not always where you expected, but always where you need it to be. So this week, when you feel that pull in your gut, do not argue with it. Do not rationalize it away. Do not wait for external confirmation. Just move. Quietly, calmly, but decisively. Let your intuition lead and let your logic follow. That is the natural order for you. Here is a simple way to practice this. When you are faced with a decision this week, no matter how small, pause for just a moment and notice what your body tells you before your mind starts analyzing. Does your chest tighten or expand? Does your stomach feel heavy or light? Does your breathing shallow or deepen? Those physical responses are your intuition speaking through your body. They are faster and often more accurate than any amount of thinking. Trust the body. It has no reason to lie to you. Your mind can rationalize, justify, and explain away, but your body simply responds to truth. This week, let your body be your compass. Let it guide you toward what feels right and away from what feels wrong, even when you cannot explain why. And the next section reveals a hidden pattern in your energy that, once you see it, will change how you approach every single relationship going forward. Tip 7. There is a pattern in your life that has been repeating for years, possibly for your entire life, and this week it becomes visible in a way it never has before. The pattern is this. You give your best energy to the people and situations that give you the least in return. Read that again because it is important. You give your best energy to the people and situations that give you the least in return. Think about it honestly. Where does most of your emotional energy go each day? Is it going to the people who lift you up, who check on you, who celebrate your growth? Or is it going to the people who drain you, who take without giving, who leave you feeling empty after every interaction? For most Pisces, the answer is painful but clear. Your best energy, your patience, your understanding, your compassion, your time, goes to the people who appreciate it the least. And the people who love you most, the ones who would do anything for you, often get whatever scraps of energy you have left at the end of the day. This is not because you are a bad person. It is the opposite, actually. You pour into difficult situations because you believe in transformation. You believe that if you just love someone enough, they will change. If you just give a little more, they will finally see your worth. If you just hold on a little longer, things will get better. But Pisces, some things do not get better because you hold on. Some things only get better when you let go. And this week, you are being asked to honestly evaluate where your energy is going and whether the investment is returning anything at all. Imagine your energy like water in a bucket. Every day you start with a full bucket, and throughout the day, you pour that water into the lives of the people around you. Some of those people take a cup, drink it with gratitude, and then pour a cup of their own water back into your bucket. That is a healthy exchange. But some people take your entire bucket, pour it onto the ground, and then complain that you did not bring enough. Those are the people this week is asking you to step back from, not with anger, not with resentment, but with the calm clarity that your energy is precious and finite, and it deserves to go where it is valued. Start redirecting this week. Take the energy you have been pouring into draining situations and give it to yourself first. Then give it to the people who reciprocate. Watch what happens. Watch how much lighter you feel. Watch how much more you have to give when you are not wasting it on people and situations that take without returning. This shift is not selfish. It is the most loving thing you can do. Because when your bucket is full, everyone in your life benefits. And here is something beautiful that happens when you start redirecting your energy. The people who truly love you will not feel neglected. They will feel relieved, because they have been watching you pour yourself dry for years, and it has worried them. They have seen you give and give to people who never give back, and they have wanted to say something but did not know how. When you finally start protecting your energy, the people who genuinely care about you will feel a quiet sense of relief. They will see the color return to your face. They will hear the lightness return to your voice. They will notice that you are laughing more, worrying less, and showing up as the version of yourself they always knew was there beneath the exhaustion. That is what this energy redirect creates. Not isolation, reconnection. Real reconnection connection with the people who have been waiting for the real you to come back. The next tip is going to reveal something about your relationship with rest that might surprise you, and it ties directly into why this reset is so important right now. Tip 8. Rest for you is not what most people think it is. For most people, rest means sitting on the couch, watching something on the screen, scrolling through a device, and calling it relaxation. But that is not rest. That is distraction. And distraction and rest are two very different things. Real rest, the kind that actually restores you, is something much deeper. And this week, you need it more than you realize. Your body has been carrying tension that your mind has been ignoring. There are places in your shoulders, your jaw, your lower back, your chest, where stress has been living quietly for weeks, maybe months. You have gotten so used to carrying it that you do not even notice it anymore. It has become your normal, but it is not normal. It is accumulated weight. And this week, part of your reset involves releasing that weight from your physical body, not just your emotional one. Real rest for a Pisces looks like this. It looks like silence. Not the silence of a quiet room with noise in the background, but true intentional silence, where your mind stops reaching for the next thought and simply exists in the present moment. It looks like being in water, if that is available to you. A bath, a shower, a pool, a lake, a stream. Water is your element, and when your body is in contact with water, something in your energy field begins to reset in a way that nothing else can replicate. It looks like sleep. Deep, uninterrupted sleep. And if you have been struggling with sleep lately, this week is the week to prioritize it above almost everything else. Turn off the screens an hour before bed. Let your room be dark and cool. Do not check messages. Do not review your to-do list. Just let your body sink into the kind of rest it has been begging for. It also looks like creative expression. For Pisces, creativity is a form of rest because it engages the part of your brain that is most natural to you. The imaginative, the intuitive, the expressive. Writing, painting, playing music, gardening, cooking with intention, arranging flowers, rearranging a room. These are not hobbies. For you, they are medicine. They restore what the world takes from you. This week, I want you to schedule rest the way you would schedule an important appointment. Because it is an important appointment. It is an appointment with yourself. And every time you keep that appointment, you are telling yourself and the universe that your well-being matters. That you are worth the time. That your peace is not negotiable. Do not let anyone convince you that resting is lazy. Do not let the culture of constant productivity make you feel guilty for taking a breath. You are not a machine. You are a deeply feeling, deeply sensitive soul, and you need more rest than most people, not because you are weak, but because you carry more. Think of it this way. An athlete who trains at the highest level needs more recovery time than someone who walks casually. That is not weakness. That is the natural cost of operating at a higher intensity. And you, Pisces, operate emotionally at an intensity most people will never understand. You feel at depths that others barely know exist. You process the world through a filter so fine that nothing gets past without being noticed, absorbed, and felt. That takes energy, enormous amounts of energy, and the only way to sustain that kind of depth without burning out is to rest with the same intensity that you feel. Deep rest, intentional rest, rest that is not apologized for or squeezed into the cracks of a busy schedule, but honored as the sacred practice it truly is. This week, give yourself that rest. And the next part of this message will show you how to use this week's energy to protect your peace not just today, but in the weeks and months ahead. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. Forgiveness is going to come up this week, and not in the way you expect. This is not about forgiving someone who hurt you, although that may happen too. This is about forgiving yourself. You have been holding on to mistakes you made months ago, maybe years ago. Decisions you wish you had made differently. Words you wish you had said or not said. Moments where you let yourself down, where you did not live up to the person you thought you should be. And you have been carrying that weight silently, adding it to the pile of things you hold inside, letting it quietly erode your sense of self-worth. This week, the energy is strong enough to help you release that, but only if you choose to. Forgiveness, real forgiveness, is not about saying what happened was acceptable. It is not about pretending it did not hurt. It is about deciding that you will no longer let that past moment control your present peace. It is about recognizing that the person who made that mistake was doing the best they could with what they had at that time. And that person deserves compassion, not punishment. You would give that compassion to anyone else in a heartbeat. A friend comes to you with a mistake, and what do? You comfort them. You remind them that they are human. You tell them it is going to be all right. You hold space for their imperfection with a gentleness that comes so naturally to you. It is almost effortless. But when it is your own mistake, when it is your own imperfection, that gentleness disappears. In its place comes a harsh inner critic that holds you to standards you would never impose on anyone else. This week, I want you to turn that same compassion inward. I want you to talk to yourself the way you would talk to your closest friend. I want you to look at that old mistake, that old regret, that thing you have been silently punishing yourself for. And I want you to say, I did the best I could. And it is time to let this go. You do not have to do this all at once. Forgiveness is not a single moment. It is a practice. It is something you choose again and again. Every time the memory surfaces, every time the regret tries to pull you back, each time you gently remind yourself that you are human, that growth is not about being perfect. It is about being willing to keep going even when you fall short. And Pisces, you have kept going through more than most people will ever understand. You have kept going through emotional storms that would have broken others. You have kept going through loneliness and confusion and heartache and doubt. And you are still here, still open, still feeling, still trying. That resilience deserves your respect, not your criticism. This week, give yourself the gift of self-forgiveness. Let the old story end so a new one can begin. Here is something most people never consider about self-forgiveness. It is not just for you. When you forgive yourself, you become softer, more open, more available to the people around you. Because a person who is silently punishing themselves cannot fully show up for others. They are too busy managing the weight of their own judgment. They are too distracted by the inner courtroom that never adjourns. But when you release that judgment, when you set yourself free from the endless trial, something opens up. You become present in a way you have not been in a long time. You listen more deeply. You laugh more easily. You love more freely. Self-forgiveness is not just a personal gift. It is a gift to every single person who loves you, because it gives them back the version of you that has been hidden behind walls of guilt and regret. Let them have you back this week. Let yourself have you back. And in the next section, I am going to share something about the energy coming toward you that will give you a reason to be genuinely excited about what lies ahead. Tip 10. There is something beautiful heading your way, and I do not say that lightly. This is not empty optimism. This is not a vague promise that things will get better eventually. This is specific, and it is connected to the choices you make this week. When you protect your peace, when you set that boundary, when you release the guilt, when you forgive yourself, you create an energetic opening. And into that opening, something new is going to flow. It might come as a person, someone who sees you clearly, who values your depth, who does not ask you to shrink yourself to make them comfortable. It might come as an opportunity, something aligned with your gifts, your creativity, your natural ability to understand and connect with others on a level that goes beyond the surface. It might come as a feeling, a sense of clarity you have not experienced in a long time. A morning where you wake up and for the first time in months, you feel genuinely at peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because you have finally stopped fighting yourself. Whatever form it takes, it is coming, but it can only arrive if you make the space for it. That is why this week's reset matters so much. It is not just about surviving the next 7 days. It is about preparing the ground for what is next. Every choice you make this week is a seed. The boundary you set is a seed. The rest you take is a seed. The forgiveness you offer yourself is a seed. And those seeds are going to bloom in ways that will surprise you, in ways that will remind you why you are here, in ways that will make you grateful you did the hard work of protecting your peace when it would have been easier to just keep going along as things were. I want you to hold that image in your mind this week. The image of seeds being planted. When doubt comes, and it will, remind yourself that you are not doing nothing. You are planting. And planting always looks like nothing before it looks like everything. You cannot see the roots growing beneath the soil. You cannot see the tiny shoots pushing upward in the darkness. But they are there. They are growing. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look at your life and see the garden you planted during the hardest season. This week is that planting season, Pisces. Do not skip it. Do not rush through it. Give it the care and attention it deserves, and the harvest will take care of itself. And let me tell you something else about this incoming energy. It is not just about receiving something new. It is also about finally being recognized for who you truly are. You have been invisible in certain areas of your life for too long. Not because people do not see you, but because you have been hiding. Hiding your needs, hiding your depth, hiding the parts of yourself that you feared were too much for others to handle. This week, as you step more fully into your own peace, those hidden parts of you begin to surface. And instead of being rejected, they are welcomed. Instead of being too much, they are exactly enough. The world is not asking you to be less, Pisces. It is asking you to finally be all of who you are. And when you do that, the right things and the right people cannot help but find their way to you. What I am about to share in the next section will help you anchor all of this wisdom into daily practice, and it is simpler than you might think. Tip 11. There is one daily practice that can anchor everything we have talked about, and it takes less than 5 minutes. Every morning this week, before you check any messages, before you look at any screen, before you speak to anyone else, I want you to sit quietly and ask yourself one question. What do I need today? Not what does anyone else need. Not what is on the schedule. Not what is expected of me. What do I need? And then listen. Really listen. The answer might be rest. The answer might be movement. The answer might be a conversation you have been avoiding. The answer might be solitude. The answer might be laughter. Whatever comes up, honor it. Even if you can only honor it in a small way, honor it. Because that simple act of asking and then responding to your own needs is revolutionary for a Pisces. It rewires something deep inside you. It tells your nervous system that you matter. It tells your subconscious that your needs are not secondary. It tells the universe that you are ready to receive, not just give. And over the course of this week, that daily practice will compound. Each day you will get a little clearer. Each day, the noise of other people's expectations will get a little quieter. Each day, your own voice will get a little stronger. Until by the end of this week, you do not have to try to protect your peace anymore. It becomes natural. It becomes who you are. Not someone who shuts the world out, but someone who lets the world in on their own terms. Someone who gives from fullness, not from emptiness. Someone who loves deeply but no longer loses themselves in the process. That is the person this week is helping you become. And I want you to know something. That person already exists inside you. You are not building something from scratch. You are uncovering something that has always been there, buried under years of people-pleasing and self-neglect, and putting everyone else first. This week, you are not becoming someone new. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that is the most powerful reset of all. Not a reinvention, a remembering. You are remembering your own strength, your own worth, your own light. And once you remember, you cannot unremember. It stays with you. It becomes your foundation. It becomes the thing you build the rest of your life on. So ask yourself every morning this week, what do I need today? And then give yourself the answer. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. And if you miss a morning, do not punish yourself. Do not say I already failed and give up on the whole practice. That is the old pattern talking. The pattern that says everything has to be perfect or it does not count. Nothing has to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up. If you miss a morning, ask the question at noon. If you miss noon, ask it at night. The point is not rigid discipline. The point is building a relationship with yourself. A relationship where you check in, where you listen, where you care enough to ask. That relationship is the most important one you will ever have, Pisces. Because every other relationship in your life is shaped by the one you have with yourself. When you treat yourself with care, you attract care. When you treat yourself with respect, you attract respect. When you treat yourself like someone worth listening to, the right people listen. It all starts here, with one question each morning, with one honest answer, with one small act of self-honoring that changes everything. Because today is where your new story begins. Pisces, I want you to know something before we part ways today. Everything you have just heard was not information. It was activation. Every word, every insight, every tip was designed not just to inform you, but to stir something inside you that has been sleeping for too long. That something is your own power. Not power over others, power over yourself, the power to choose differently, the power to say no without guilt, the power to say yes to your own needs without apology, the power to rest without feeling lazy, the power to feel without being overwhelmed, the power to love without losing yourself. You have that power. You have always had it. But life has a way of burying it under layers of obligation and expectation and fear. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe that you were not strong enough, not worthy enough, not important enough to put yourself first. But that was never true. It was just a story told to you by people who needed you to stay small so they could stay comfortable. This week, you close that chapter. This week, you write a new one. And the first sentence of that new chapter is simple. I choose my peace. Say it again. I choose my peace. That is not a wish. That is not a hope. That is a declaration. It is a line drawn in the sand that tells the universe, I am ready for something different. I am ready for something better. I am ready for the life I deserve, not the life I have been settling for. And the universe is listening, Pisces. It has been waiting for you to say those words, waiting for you to mean them, waiting for you to back them up with action. And this week you do. One choice at a time, one boundary at a time, one moment of rest, of self-forgiveness, of intuitive trust at a time. You are not just resetting this week, you are reclaiming your life. And there is nothing more powerful than a Pisces who has finally decided to protect their peace. Nothing in the world can stop that kind of energy. So go into this week knowing that you are supported, that you are guided, that the energy around you is working in your favor. All you have to do is make the one choice that starts everything. The choice to protect your peace. And when the world gets loud this week, and it will, come back to these words. Come back to the truth that you are enough exactly as you are. Come back to the knowing that your sensitivity is not a flaw but a superpower. Come back to the feeling you have right now, in this very moment, of being seen and understood and reminded of your own depth. You are not alone in this, Pisces. You never have been. And this week, more than any week in recent memory, the universe is walking beside you, whispering, it is your turn now. Believe that, trust that, and step forward. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.